talk to you about having a winning week, which correlates with the coaching that I'm currently doing with our Vice President of Sales, Jen Viev. I'm in a coaching group with Jules. Some of you have picked up on that. And this is a 6-month coaching course. One of the requirements is that we have a winning day, Monday through Friday, and that we record that winning day in our group chat. If we fail to do so, we will be taken out of the chat. And along with that, we have a weekly call we're also required to attend, which is today on Tuesday. And so I have done this for a couple of weeks now, and oddly enough, I find it very, very good for me. I say that because I'm more of an on-the-fly girl, and I just appreciate knowing that I get my stuff done. But actually documenting it, like whatever, in my head, I know it's done, right? But this has given me a lot more empowerment than I recognized that it was going to do in the beginning. And it's just a means of feeling like, wow, not only am I getting the things done, I'm typing it out so that I can actually say, look at me go. Like, wow, I not only got the minimum stuff done, I went above and beyond. I'm rocking this right now. That's exciting. And it's like a natural refueling of my soul for what I'm doing in the business. So that even when I get no's, I'm like almost feeling like I don't care, even less so than before. And I'm able to kind of intentionally see that I did get a no. And we all know that the more no's you have, that's just the closer you are to getting a yes, right? It means you're doing the work, you're planting seeds, and one of it, statistically speaking, you're eventually going to get to a yes. And all of the no's we already know are just that. They're seeds planted that are eventually going to become a yes. And that's what we're doing with our winning day. So I want to explain to you what a winning day is, and ask y'all, I'll throw this in the chat too, would you like to start doing this in our leadership? I think that it's going to have exponential power in the growth of my business. So I'm going to go ahead and say I recommend we all do this as a team in our leader chat, but I'll leave it up to you guys individually. So a winning day, it's easy. It follows our IPA, right? It's 15 minutes of social engagement. Now, as a reminder, this is not just the liking and commenting. This is keeping track of your comments, not necessarily all of your likes, but when you make a comment, that is engagement. That is similar, but not exactly the same as sending a message. So you are starting to take that person from being just a stranger on your Facebook page to a friend, because you're actually interacting with them. And that's when you want to write that person down on your prospects list. Your goal is to have 3 of those people put on the prospects list every single day. That is going to be your funnel for the upcoming weeks and months to continue to come back to that list and say, oh yeah, that's right, I'm chatting and engaging with Martin Luther King. I don't know why that name came to mind, but Martin Luther King. And I haven't talked to him since last week, so I better see what's going on in his life and comment again. And then I'm going to keep track of that so that by week 3, I am maybe private messaging him, opening up that conversation. I'm hopefully getting him to engage with me on my comments. So when he returns a comment, I'm going to return a comment, or that is going to be the moment that I move that conversation into a direct message so that I can expand our relationship. And inside that direct message is eventually going to be in week 3 or week 4, where I say, hey, I don't know if you've taken note on my newsfeed, but I have a huge passion for gut health, and even more so a passion to help other people optimize their gut health, because that is the brain for what is going to create the best whole body health, mentally and physically. With that said, we have Thursday night events that share the details of our gut health products, and I would love for you to take a look at them. I think you'd really find it to be a benefit to your life too. Would you like to be added to the group chat? I'm sorry, the Facebook event. And so that's how those likes and comments get recorded. It's really the commenting that you're recording the person you're engaging with, and then moving that conversation along to a DM, and then eventually matching or coming into that DM and doing your invitation and introducing Plexus. So 15 minutes a day of that social engagement and recording. You have stories and social media. That's another part of your IPA. You're going to make sure that you're posting at least 3 times. 2 of those 3 times are, who am I as a person? What do I love? How can I be an added value to other people's lives by being educational, inspirational, funny, positive, um, um, sharing a recipe, giving a beneficial piece of information about health in general, whatever it is I'm going to do that's adding value to other people's lives. It doesn't even have to be in the category of health and wellness. It can be mindset education. It can be how to paint a house easy and quick. It doesn't really matter. It's just adding value to people's lives. And of course, their third post is a Plexus related post and stories, stories, stories. Y'all, stories are super powerful. So this goes for IG, Facebook, getting on live videos and TikTok, chat. I can't think of the chat. Y'all probably know what I'm talking about. That other social media, Snapchat. Couldn't think of the name. Then going for no. So this is usually in a follow-up, or once that funnel starts to mature, right? You're on week 3, week 4 of talking to somebody or commenting and leading that into a conversation. Now we're going for no, which is the invitation, right? So you want 3 of those no's a day. And your follow-ups for customer care, the people who are your current customers, as well as your team. So following up with your team. And then what are you doing with your team, right? What kind of Zoom calls, coaching are you doing to help your team stay engaged with exactly what I just explained? And one thing with that, I just want to say, like, this is the magic in our business. And speaking of magic, I'm about to talk about Magic Week, right? But this is the magic that makes Magic Week happen. And for those of you who are new, might be listening to this, Magic Week is always our 4th week of the month. It's our final push in the month to take all of the seeds we've been planting and bear fruit, to take the conversations we're having and move them into a sale. Now, who knows all the reasons, but most often every month we see 80% of our sales end up in the 4th week of the month. Generally speaking, we're taking that last week to look back at the previous 3 weeks, and we're making our list of everyone we've been talking to and commenting with and going towards, hey, let's take a look at this Plexus, which would be this Thursday's event, right? And now that you've seen it, or maybe you were in last Thursday's event, let me find out what it was that made you want to be in that event to begin with. Why did you say yes? And what is it that is in the back of your mind that you know you would like to see improved? And I'd love to help show you how Plexus can be the answer to that need of improvement, right? We're going after questions like that, and we're helping bridge the gap between I have this need and this is an answer. How can we help them bridge that gap? And that usually takes place in the 4th week. So then when we start our new month, it's kind of starting all over again, right? Where we might only be in week 2 of commenting with somebody, but we're going to start moving those conversations. We're going to start commenting on brand new people. And now we're going to start a new funnel that moves into the next month. And boom, last week of the month, Magic Week, we are doing those follow-ups and closing the deal. So that's why we call it Magic Week. We have so many sales that take place during this Magic Week. And the other reason why we call it magic is because that's when things that we maybe think could never happen seem to magically do happen, right? We bring our energy, and when we bring our energy and show up in that positive way and do the work, the fruit does bear itself, right? We get to grab onto that, and we see rank advancements, and we see people winning. People winning. That is awesome. And, what do I mean by winning? Just a real quick reminder here. for all of us. We all have dreams in this company, but on a month to month basis, sometimes that's just, hey, I want to get an extra $100 paid off of my credit card. Or, hey, something came up for my child, sports related. We're in spring. Somebody today just told me that their son was going to be starting baseball. It's expensive. And maybe it's a stressor because it's that extra expense. And winning this week is going for the enough of a expansion of your team, helping more people to change their lives, that is going to lead you to that extra $100 that can afford you that expense without the stress. Expense taken care of, stress taken away. Like, that's a huge win. And Magic Week is all about us being able to achieve that as much as it is a next rank advancement. So I mentioned a few minutes ago that the IPA is the magic to that, right? We all know that, but life can get, on a daily basis, can get crazy busy. And sometimes we can even have several days of things just not panning out the way we thought, which can turn into our brains saying, hey, do you really want to get up and do this again today? And hear another no. Do you really think this is actually going to work for you? Because so far this week is not looking good. And I don't know about you, but I don't like the feeling of disappointment. And I don't like the idea of wasting my time on something that's not going to pan out to anything. But the truth of the matter is, those daily consistent activities are literally like magic, in the sense that while you are thinking they're not working, they are working. They're absolutely working. But the belief system has to be, the belief factor within yourself has to be in the knowing that doing it every single day consistently is why Magic Week has power. And if you stick to that over and over and over, and then teach your team that methodology, that seemingly simplistic, maybe even at times boring methodology, will create magnificence for themselves and their team. And that's how you create momentum on your team. And that's how you help your team have Magic Week win for them as much as it is winning for you. So I really, really, really want to encourage you all to think about this winning day where we would all show up every day. I will provide the layout of what this looks like if you were to drop it into a chat. And let me know if you think that that's something you would like to participate in the leader chat. In addition to the things I already mentioned, we also put our team points as of the date that we're dropping the information versus our goal for our team points for that month. We put in our team totals, like how many new team members as compared to what we hope to put on our team. And we put on our personal add-ons for the month as compared to our goal. So like right now I'm at 2, my goal is 6. I sent out samples again today. I'm in conversation with somebody who's talking to me about what their needs are right now. I have people showing up in the event on Thursday, so I'm still pretty hopeful that I'll get to that 6. But that's what we put into that chat on a daily basis. I just have to pause here for a second and make sure that I didn't miss anything with regard to Magic Week. Oh, yes, I did. See? Oh, so much pays to write these notes down, right? Okay. The other thing I really want to encourage you guys to finish out your Magic Week strong is to be intentional about your social posts. So I'm guilty of this, actually. Maybe I'm the only one in this group that's guilty of it. I'm not really sure. But when I get going on my social posts, sometimes I feel like my mind goes mush and I can't think of like creativity, or I do think of something creative, but it has nothing to do with yesterday or tomorrow's posts, which is totally okay. But you know how people work. They need to see things over and over and over and over before they go, you know what? I think I better be paying attention to this, because the first time I saw it looked kind of interesting, but then of course life got going, right? That's the problem with trying to share things with people. They, even if they think it's interesting, if you only share it one time, they're off and running. They don't they might wish they remembered that really interesting piece of information that could help their bodies, but they're off and running. So then we have to show up again and again and again and again. And this is why social media is so important for anyone who's ever hesitant or thinking like, it's not working. It is working. Oh my gosh, you guys, I sign a lot of people just off my social media posts. And when I'm going to be messaging somebody and saying eventually, hey, not sure if you watch my news feed, or I don't know if you've noticed how much of a gut health guru, passionate, crazy person I am, but I do love helping people. If I'm not showing up on social media, they're like, what are you talking about? Like, I don't ever see that, right? So this is really, really, really important. And not that this has to be the case every day or week, but this week, I would love to make it a scenario for all of us where we are being a little bit more intentional with subject matter from now to the last day of the week so that people are seeing it over and over and over in the same regard. So, what am I talking about? Two things, actually. One of them is rather than posting a selfie with your pink drink and just giving some information about the pink drink, or a selfie with your pink drink and saying, hey, we're having a Thursday night event. I would love for you to join me. Maybe it's a random testimonial, right? And none of those three things are necessarily all tied together. This last end of the week, I would love for you guys to focus on, how does Plexus make you feel? Feelings are what are really going to pull at people. They're going to get their attention far greater than, hey, this pink drink has chromium in it, and this is what it does. That's interesting, but it's not going to pull at their heart where they really see how it is a deep, I need to reach out to this person. Feelings, on the other hand, absolutely do that. When you can resonate with somebody and relate with them on a level of feelings where I truly feel like that is when you are going to have the most impact for somebody. So, what do I mean by that? I feel fulfilled from my work. Having a post about that, right? The work that you're doing for Plexus, I feel fulfilled. In what ways? You can end that post saying, do you feel fulfilled in your work? Or maybe it's time for a change. You don't have to even mention Plexus. It's just dripping a message that is going to pique interest. It's not necessarily puking anything about Plexus. I already mentioned the sports idea. I have to pay for sports this year or this week. This is sports season. This is the heavy sports season for my family and I. At one point in time, this would have been a very challenging time. It would have always created a lot of stress in our household. I would feel the tension between my husband and I when we knew that other things in our lives were going to have to sacrifice, or there was a feeling of responsibility. Who was going to be responsible for this income to be able to pay for the sports? And maybe it always fell on the husband, and he has to work overtime to cover this. And then the wife is stricken with guilt because not only is she not working overtime, but what she's doing with her time is being present at the baseball game or whatever sporting activity while the husband is missing out. So when you can share a story about what Plexus is doing for you, the hope is a great word, you guys. I am finally hopeful that I will become debt free. I am finally hopeful that I will have choices in my life. If I want to stay at my job, I can. But if I decide that another way of life is better for me, where I have more time with my children, I have the right to make that decision too. And I finally feel hopeful that I'm on the path to make that decision. If you're in that place, we should chat. Something to that effect. I remember when I used to go to bed at night and I would cry myself to sleep because I had to wake up the next morning and get my children ready to drop them off at somebody else's house to raise them during the day. And I knew I was missing out on poignant memories with my children, moments that I would never be able to repeat, first times of what they were doing and saying that I wouldn't be able to be there for. and it broke my heart. And I'm so grateful that I have found something that is powerful enough to give every mother that opportunity to be home with their babies and not missing those moments. To have that choice is so powerful. And this is such an amazing company to be able to give that to mamas while helping mamas become the best version of themselves by being the healthiest they can be, both mentally and physically. These are things that I can spew out of my mouth partly, maybe mostly, because that's what I know in my heart. I know that's what this business is about. I know what that's what these products do for people and what the opportunity provides. And whatever it is that you feel you have enough belief on at this moment, and there's plenty for every single person listening to this, because even if you're new, you have a lot of hopes. You have a lot of things in your life that you would like to change. You're avoiding medications that you should maybe be taking per the doctor because you refuse to believe that that's the end all and be all, that you're just stuck, cornered with a disease that you can't do anything about. Not true. You have found an answer to that, an alternative, something that is actually healing your body, or helping your body to heal itself is really what we're doing. Helping your body to be able to function properly so that it can reverse symptoms and things that are going wrong on its own, and not just giving up to the idea that there's nothing we can do about it. We have to have this job. We have to have these medications. This is just the way life is. Like, no, that's not the way it needs to be. And that's the message I really want to encourage all of you to send one time per day for the next 7 days. I think you will see a dramatic response from the people watching you. If you don't see that response at the end of 7 days via a direct message, via you're putting out messages and you're still getting no's, I want you to trust 100% that you're still having an impact. These people are watching that. They are seeing those messages and it is making a difference. If it doesn't make a difference this week, it will make a difference in the weeks to come. So definitely want to give that to you guys. And then the last thing I want to encourage you to post at least 2 of these. And I know this means that you're going to have more than one Plexus post per day. It's okay. It's not the end of the world. But 2 of these for the next sometime in the next 7 days, where you are talking about the income. I will post, a couple of examples that I have on my newsfeed. You can certainly go look at my newsfeed. I try to do a lot of income-oriented posts because I believe strongly in that people need the income as much as they need the products. You all know this. If you've been with me for a while, you know I am so passionate about that part. And in case you're listening to this right now and don't know my history, or you're listening to it in the future, I was on food stamps 6 months before Plexus, and I was raised poor, and I know that feeling of desperation. So while some of us sit in a very comfortable scenario, it's not the case for everybody. And this is such a perfect opportunity for everyone to have that option to not be living in a very, very stressful scenario because of finances. It's so unnecessary. Anybody can share this business and grow this business. The 7 things that I listed off on a winning day, or it's really 5 things, that I listed off on a winning day, anybody can do that. It's not rocket science. And if you do it religiously every day, you know the outcome. You're going to make money, and it's going to grow. So 2 posts. I'm going to also drop one that one of my level 1s used yesterday, I think. And she got a response off of it for someone who definitely wants to know more information on the business. So that was the case for me too. I also put out a post last week, and someone just responded and said, yes, I want to know what this is, and signed up and is running with the business. So why not, right? You need to be talking about the business. The other thing, the reason why I'm happy about this business post is because you cannot talk about the business without talking about the products. So you're still educating on our product, but you're not missing out on the opportunity, versus when you put things out there about the product, you don't really ever have to say anything about the opportunity, and they don't even realize what is there. So be thinking about that. I will drop the examples. You're welcome to use them and tweak them to sound like you, or, and I love the or one better, of course. Speak from your heart. What has this business done for you? Even if it's only your first week, it's fine. Has it invigorated you? Have you earned a small amount of income off of it? Even if it's just 20 bucks, who cares? Share what it has done for you on the business side and your hopes and dreams for what is to come, or steal from somebody else's story. I signed on with somebody who has made a remarkable change in her life because of this opportunity. She's teaching and training me, and I cannot wait to fulfill every single goal that I now have for this opportunity. If you're interested in changing your life, earning a little side income, retiring your husband, whatever, there are really no limits. Put something like that out there. All right, that's it, you guys. I hope we absolutely crushed this week. I hope you guys all realize that whatever you have for your goal this month, even if things have not gone the way you thought it would, there's a whole week left. There's an entire week to have mini events, to have three-way conversations, to have phone calls with people, to do mini Zooms with 3 new people and share the ideas, to line up a sip and see and do something in front of people. The only limitations you have are, of course, your time, because we all have lives too. But outside of your time, the only limitation you have is what you're willing to put into your business. And I just want to speak life into that. Like, do not settle. Do not think that you can't achieve something, even if it doesn't look that way today. 7 days can change a whole lot in your business if you're willing to put in the effort. All right, if anyone has any questions, please let me know. Have a good day.